Just because they don't have AAA budgets doesn't mean you should miss them. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 indie games that everyone should play. For more gaming videos, check out our new spin-off channel, Mojo Plays, for in-depth reviews, thoughtful video essays, detailed character origins, and insightful commentary. Mojo Plays, games smarter. For this list, we're looking at indie games that have won players over, whether it be due to their gameplay, art style, music, or all of the above. If the game has you glued to your screen, it's eligible for this list. Games such as Minecraft, although an indie game when released, won't be eligible because everyone's played it now and you're not indie when you're owned by Microsoft. Number 10, Nidhogg. Despite its minimalist graphics, Nidhogg is a blast to play, and that's all that matters, right? The game pits two fencing warriors against each other in what plays out like a brutal tug of war with blood. Pixelated blood, but lots of it. Players can stab, throw their sword, kick, and punch their way to victory, and when prompted can continue in their trek to the end, only to have the other player respawn in their tracks and try to stop them. Fast-paced, intense, and a whole lot of fun, Nidhogg is perfect for casual competitive play. Number 9, Her Story.
Mum and Dad never had any reason to notice. They were always busy.
An FMV game that's actually good? You bet. Her Story has you sifting through video files of a woman accused of murdering her husband. Aside from the obvious mystery of whether or not she actually committed the murder, there's the question of your character. You're not involved with the case, yet you've been granted access to the system that allows you to watch these interrogations. Who are you and why are you interested? Anyway, the game does a good job of making you feel like a detective, and all the answers come converging in the end, while leaving just the right amount of ambiguity.
Really weird, so I think that's a good place to stop.
Number 8, The Stanley Parable.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
You're not always going to get to laugh when you play a video game, especially if it's a single-player one. The Stanley Parable follows a man who's suddenly the only person left in his workplace. Everyone seems to have disappeared. As you wander around, a narrator dictates everything that you do, even before you do it. So, do you defy the voice in your head, or do you go along with it? This game will take you to interesting places and it's full of Easter eggs from other games. When it does end, try again and make a different choice somewhere down the line. You'll be surprised at what can happen.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Number 7, The Binding of Isaac: Rebirth. While this game doesn't offer much spectacle in its level design or gameplay, its huge amount of content and replayability will have you sinking dozens and maybe even hundreds of hours into it. You play as a young fetus boy thing who kills monsters by throwing balls of your own tears at them. And if that somehow doesn't get you going, then hopefully the amount of riveting boss battles and weapons will. That sense of discovery should keep you coming back time and time again. Number 6, Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight incorporates the best elements of celebrated NES titles in a way that feels unique and accessible to everyone. It draws a lot of inspiration from games like Mega Man in its level design, as well as gameplay. The premise is simple enough though. You side-scroll your way to victory, beating enemies in levels that get more difficult as you progress, all while using your trusty shovel as a pogo stick, weapon, and, well, as a shovel to dig up gems. There are a lot of levels, and you can replay the campaign as different characters, so you really have no excuse not to try this one. Number 5, Subnautica. This is a game you also need to try. Subnautica takes place on an alien planet that is pretty much entirely covered with water. As the title and premise suggests, you'll be diving underwater for most of the time, gathering resources and building new things that let you traverse deeper. All this happens while you avoid the many dangerous alien sea monsters who wish to make a meal out of you. The game manages to make you feel serene and calm one moment and terrified and alert the next, as you strain your eyes to see what horrors lie in the darkness. Number 4, Stardew Valley. While this game might come across as a simple farming sim at first glance, the more you play, the more you'll realize you'll need to invest your whole life into this virtual one. We can understand your apprehension when you see the isometric view and style of the gameplay, but it is incredibly capable of drawing you in and basically never letting go. Not only do you farm, but you scavenge, fight creatures, partake in side quests, and build relationships with the people around town. Part farming sim, part RPG, fully addictive. Number 3, Undertale. Weird, unconventional, simplistic, but damn is it ever good. Only Undertale can overcome its graphical and gameplay shortcomings thanks to its moving story and fantastic characters. Who would have thought that there'd be an RPG that lets you flirt with a monster you're battling in order to avoid conflict? But if you think that's the most bizarre moment in the game, you're still in for a treat. We won't spoil too much, as almost every situation you encounter should have you chuckling, but just don't go into the game thinking it's traditional.
That's a wonderful idea.
Number 2, Inside. If you liked Limbo, which you should definitely check out too by the way, you're gonna absolutely love Inside. Its tone and animation style are simply hypnotic. Like Limbo, there are no tutorials or button prompts really. It's just a boy and what's going on around him. The puzzles are creative, the deaths are definitely gruesome, and the atmosphere and mystery are enticing. It may sound like nothing special, but this is a game that deserves to be played in order to be fully appreciated. Go on, you'll thank us later. Oh, and if you feel slightly disturbed at times, that's part of the charm. Before we unveil our top pick, here's some honorable mentions. Number 1, Celeste. Nothing can prepare you for Celeste. People say it's great, it's amazing, and you'll believe them and play it, and it will still be better than you expected. When you see the pixelated graphics and 2D side-scrolling, you might be tempted to write it off as just another indie platformer, but you'd be wrong. The beauty of the whole art style is probably enough to warrant a playthrough, but there's a lot more there. The beautiful soundtrack will mesmerize you. The story and its themes will move you, and the challenge of collecting all of those goddamn golden strawberries will have the most hardcore gamers at their wits' end. We implore you to try this one as soon as you can. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.